Paige Bueckers, oh my Lord, led UConn to the Final Four last night with an amazing performance. 10 of 15 from the field, 27 points, and a 91-87 double overtime thriller. She was 8 for 9 in the second half in OT, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. UConn will play Stanford on Friday in Minneapolis. Joining me now, JJ Redick in studio. JJ, was that the best game, men's or women's? Was that the best of March Madness so far?
It was, and this is coming from someone that's extremely biased, of course. And I thought the Duke-Michigan State game and the Duke-Texas Tech game were great games. But this game was the best game of this March Madness. High-level shot-making from Paige Bueckers. Incredible execution from NC State at the end of the first overtime to get Jakia Brown-Turner that open three-point shot. And it's also important to note what was at stake here. Obviously a Final Four appearance, but UConn's streak of consecutive Final Four on the line, 14. And Paige Bueckers steps up and makes it happen.
14 and it was not even a real thing.
No.
It's crazy.
My one gripe with this game is that Gino didn't have them foul up 3 with 6 seconds to go, which allowed Brown-Turner to get the 3 from the corner. It's pretty much universal now in that scenario. Like, the strategy is you foul, you make them make free throws, you take the ball out, you go down, you put the ball in Paige's hands, she makes free throws.
So, Paige Bueckers, she's a sophomore. She's the reigning player of the year. And JJ, to me, the highest level of clutch play, a lot of times, like, there's a great player who just plays the same as they always do under pressure, and they get a little overrated in the clutch. Like, no, they're always great. But there are some people, Michael Jordan fits this description, Mariano Rivera fits this description. They're the best. And when it matters most, they get even better. That's what she just did last night, right? I mean, like, what does this mean about her?
It means that she's a sicko. She's a killer. Gino talked about this after the game. He talked about the fact that great players, the best players, they always step up in the big moments. She did this last night. And I don't know if she likes the comparison. I know Gino has compared her before to Diana Taurasi. But she was giving off major Diana Taurasi vibes last night.
My favorite.
Major Kobe vibes. You mentioned Jordan. Just an absolute killer in the clutch.
So your biggest takeaway from your Duke Blue Devils reaching the Final Four in Coach K's final season and getting UNC, like, this can't even be also not a real thing, right?
We're either living in a simulation or the basketball gods are real. One or the other. One or the other. My biggest takeaway was just the growth over the last 2 weeks of this team. I was at the UNC game, Coach K's last home game. I was at the Virginia Tech game, the ACC championship. In both those games, there was a moment of the second half where they let go of the rope. They allowed that game to get away with them. And I mentioned that Michigan State game. I mentioned that Texas Tech game. 2 really good basketball teams, 2 really hard-fought games. They were down 4 or 5 points in both those games with just a few minutes to go. They executed, they battled back. That shows growth to me.
Yeah, and by the way, you have Banchero not settling now. He's taking it strong inside. You have Roach giving you the guard
playmaking from Roach has been amazing. Yeah.
Amazing, right? Jay Will was talking about how long it takes when you have so much responsibility to start playing with rhythm with Coach K. But by the time tournament time rolls around, that separates, you know, the wheat from the chaff, right? Like, now we see Roach coming through on the biggest stage.
Well, look, Coach K, he's very strategic about building towards the tournament. He always has been. He schedules non-conference games at big arenas. You know, they played Gonzaga early in the season in Vegas. When I was in school, we played at the United Center. We played non-conference games at MSG, in the Meadowlands. There's always those games that simulate what you're going to experience on a neutral site in a big arena during the NCAA tournament. The other thing the coach is masterful at is how he looks at each weekend of the tournament as its own Final Four, as its own tournament. There's never looking ahead. There's a 4-team tournament. We got to win 2 games. There's no difference in preparation that they'll have this week that they didn't have the previous 2 weeks.
You also played in the NBA. I don't know if you remember, so I want to talk a little NBA with you. Pretty recently. Yeah, you shot pretty well. MVP candidate Nikola Jokic had another MVP-level performance last night against the Hornets. 26 and 19 with 11 dimes. He's a center. Jokic has 19 triple-doubles this season, which leads the NBA, and is the 3rd most from a center in history, but 2nd most as a play. Like, Wilt has the top 2, and then there's Jokic now, right? Here's the MVP odds as they stand today. Embiid and Jokic all year, they're neck and neck. Who's the front runner for you right now, JJ?
It's Jokic, and There was a straw poll that was on ESPN.com earlier this morning. Jokic won that straw poll. To me, he's still the front runner. The two guys that I think have real momentum here, and Joel Embiid obviously is still very much in the conversation, but the two guys that have momentum here are Devin Booker and Jason Tatum. And when we talk about Devin Booker is one of 10 players to average at least 25, 5, and 5 on a team with a winning percentage of 800 or higher. 8 of those 9 previous players have won MVP. In almost any other year, he would probably be the front runner for MVP. It's because Jokic is having this historical season and dragging a team that is missing their 2 other best players to a playoff spot.
Hey, never mind that. First of all, that's like an exercise in being just, right? Like bringing up Booker. He ain't gonna win MVP. And by the way, he doesn't deserve it. He's up there. He's not. Jokic and Embiid have had better seasons than Devin Booker. Yes, they have, and you know it.
The 3 most dominant players in the NBA this year have
Yes.
been Jokic, Embiid, and Giannis. There's no
How's
question.
Luka been?
There's no question. Those 3 guys.
Luka, pretty good?
The first 2 months of the season count.
Yeah, that's a good point. When you say something like that, do you get a call from your guy? Does Embiid give you a call like, yo, what's the matter? You're taking the other guy?
Oh, man. I was with him yesterday down in Philly, and we definitely discussed the MVP. I will probably, if he sees this video, I will probably get a text from the process. Yeah. It'll happen.
Is he as good on text as he is on Twitter?
He is very unreliable on text. I would describe him as unreliable. Unreliable.
Unreliable.
Busy guy.
Not the MVP. He's unreliable with friends like this. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.